All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this IvDGaming.com production. Tournament number 73, going into the grand finals, best of 3 series starting here on WCS Daybreak. I'm your casting host, Beef, and joining me is Fission of the IvD Gaming crew. Fission, our first PVT of the night, and we're here in the grand finals.
Yeah, I actually don't know what to expect at all from this. If it's anything like Wings of Liberty, should be a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, definitely one of the more volatile matchups, and definitely something that's very aggression-based in Wings of Liberty. Like you said, we're not too familiar with Heart of the Swarm and the HOTS meta game, so it's going to be a surprise to us as well as to you. Let's get on into it, though. In the top right-hand corner, playing the pink Protoss, well, he goes by the name Ranchinator. And in the bottom left-hand corner, the red Terran, his opponent, crushing through both a Terran and a Zerg. Can he make it a three-peat? Well, we'll have to find out. He's Sky.
Yeah, especially on Daybreak, it'll be kind of curious as to if it's going to be just like aggro, or we're going to see some expands. Really, I have no idea what to expect here.
Yeah, I'm not too sure at all right now either. We'll see. Like you said, it could be a whole lot of aggression. But, well, I'm looking forward to seeing the Mothership Core. I know that this is it's been tinkered around with quite a bit. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it here against our Terran player. Maybe even a proxy Nexus into Mothership Core. Wouldn't that be something? But
yeah,
probably not too likely.
I actually, in the few games that I played before the tournament started, I got to experience the Mothership Core with the recall. They recalled their units out as I was killing them. I was kind of furious about that.
Yeah, it can be kind of annoying, as both of us know as a Zerg. Now, our Terran player going for a very early tech lab here. At least in Heart of the Swarm, this generally means Marauders. Or very, very early stim, but no longer required for Reapers and never required for Marines. So, are we going to see Marauders? He does start a Reaper. I thought that requires... Does that require a tech lab? I can't figure it out now.
Last game, he definitely built a... or one of our previous games, sorry. I definitely saw a Reaper built without a tech lab, so I do not think it is required.
Well, interesting. I'm not sure... I mean, I would assume Sky knows that he's playing in the tournament over here, but yeah, like I said, I was pretty sure that it doesn't. Now, on the other side of the map, our Protoss player, he's been going for what appears to be a one-gate expand. That's at least the kind of build that he's going for, but no, drops a Twilight Council, yeah. So, interesting. With the double gas and that early Twilight, could definitely be a... Dark Templar Rush.
Yeah, it does have a Stalker Zealot to, deny any kind of scout inside the base. The Reaper is going to try to jump by, but I don't think it's going to really see anything, especially with that Stalker there. And as I said, the Reaper is actually getting in the back of base. He is going to see the Twilight Council. So Sky is getting all the information that he needs.
And he should actually be able to get out of here as he's regenerating with the combat drugs. Even going to throw a couple of pot shots in that Cybernetics core as he runs away. And damn, Reapers are once again extremely effective scouts.
Yeah, without having to get the factory and research the speed, they can just kind of zip in, zip out, get all the information they need. Ranchinator is determined to make this Dark Templar work. Maybe he'll switch it up to Archons or do something with it, he's now getting the Zealot charge ability, so maybe he'll poke around with some Dark Templar, and if that goes wrong, go with the very common Archon Zealot build.
Yeah, Charge Lot Archon can work off of only one base, though. Simply not going to have the infrastructure and the ability to replenish your units fast enough, and the more time that goes on here, the further ahead our Terran's going to get, as he's already dropped his second base here. Got a missile turret up in the front along with a bunker. The Dark Templars, if they're warped in, are going to do very, very little.
Yeah, especially with Sky's expansion up. He's already leading in the worker count, and he also has his mules, so he is going to be getting a lot more minerals versus this Protoss single base play.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'd like to see an expansion drop behind this, but Ranchinator definitely looks like he's going all in right now, warping in some DTs, and he's going to be very, very sour when he sees this bunker and the number of bio units behind it.
He's going to try to snipe off this missile turret, which is...
will actually get the snipe off right here, and there's the scan.
Yep. He's going to need to get another missile turret down as quickly as possible, though, because that is the only scan he's going to have.
Yeah, it is. Now, going to be dropping that second missile turret, and we're actually going to throw up some supply depots as well. The Zealot's going to be going down right here, but the DT's actually getting to work on a lot of these units. Going to start working on...
He needs to kill that SCV that's killing...
Yeah, he needs to kill that turret. And will not be able to get the turret in time. Both DTs go down, and Ranchinator, that might just spell doom for him in this game.
He's going to continue this harassment, although the missile turret did get repaired, so these units, if they go in, they're just going to get slaughtered.
Yep, that Dark Templar repelled at 6 HP. Zealot's going to be getting out of there as well. And Ranchinator might as well morph this into an Archon and try to go for one last all-in charge lot Archon push. But at this point, pretty hopelessly behind. Down almost twice the worker count.
Half the supply.
Yeah. I'm just really not seeing an out for him. And does make that Archon 5 charge lots at 0 upgrades and 1 Archon, though. Not even going to be close to what he needs to break this bunker. And behind the bunker, 15 Marines and a handful of Marauders.
This guy's going to actually stem out. There's a GG.
GG indeed. And game number 1 going to be going to, well, our Terran player. He's been victorious in all the games so far that we've seen him from. And, well, continue the trend right there. Alright, guys, we'll see if in the next game Ranchinator chooses to go for a little bit less of an all-in strategy, or if Sky pulls off a Miracle Scout once more. Guys, going to be bringing you game number 2 of the Grand Finals best of 3 here from IvDGaming.com, tournament number 73. And, well, while you're waiting, head over to IvDGaming.com and read up all about all of our tournaments 3 nights a week, and make sure, of course, to hit the follow button here on twitch.tv/YogiTime. Get notified every time that we do go live with our tournaments 3 nights a week, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And, of course, coming up next week, we do actually have another qualifier for IvDGaming.com number 80. Which is going to be our $200 tournament coming up in, well, just a few weeks out now. In fact, only about a week and a half away. Should be awesome. So once again, hit that follow button and head over to IvDGaming.com. Guys, this has been Beef and Fission. We're going to go grab the next game. Don't go anywhere.
It ain't about the cash that you flash, girl, that ain't class. Or what VIP list that you on. Because you look good don't mean you're sexy, baby. If there's no beauty in your soul, well, girl, it's my guess. If you redefine success, you might find what you keep searching for. Don't get perspective on your assets, baby. They'll soon become your liabilities. You think it's all about you, girl, you don't have a clue. You can't see the forest for the trees. Ain't that superficial? Why you gotta act a fool? Just cause you drive a big fancy car, baby, that don't make you cool. Ain't that superficial? Looks don't count for much when your beauty fades and you find that a human touch. Ain't that superficial? Digging on all that attitude. I don't care which side of town you're from. I'm not impressed with your Donna Karen dress. Why don't you put that thing back on? she knows behind the beautiful smile she's got to have style. Ain't that superficial? Why you gotta act a fool? Just 'cause you drive a big fancy car, baby, that don't make you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to IvDGaming.com, number 73 here. We do have Game 2 of the Grand Finals coming up right now with me, your casting host, Beef, and, of course, Fission from the IVD casting crew, making an appearance once again. Fission, we could be in what may very well may be the last game of this tournament.
Yeah, yes, we could. Especially with that last game being an all-in, it'll be pretty interesting to see what Ranchinator does this game. Wonder if he'll play more macro-style game or if he'll try a different kind of an all-in.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And, well, something to point out, Ranchinator, I believe, ranked Diamond on Wings of Liberty Ladder, whereas Sky is actually mid-Masters. But Ranch did actually just make through a different player that was a mid-range Masters Zerg. So he's obviously got something up his sleeve, and we'll see what it might have to be in this game. Of course, the player we're talking about in the top right-hand corner here on WCS Cloud Kingdom, he's the Pink Protoss, Ranchinator. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner, currently on a 5-0 streak. We do have the Red Terran. Is he going to close it out, make it 6, and take the championship? He's Sky.
This game's looking a lot like the last game. One thing to note, Sky actually doesn't really send his SCV straight down the middle. He doesn't want him, doesn't want Ranchinator to know that he is actually sending a scout. He doesn't want to bump paths with the probe.
Yeah, and so he shall not. Going to go ahead and get on up there. Check for that early expansion. Sees that it's not Nexus first. And then immediately makes it on into the main base here. Going to be getting some scouting information off and sees that it's just that standard opening from Protoss that could be something like we saw last time. It could be something like a 4-gate, or it could even just be a 1-gate expand. Of course, telltale signs of differences between those. Nothing a whole lot more than just probes, timings, chrono boosts. But the building's all the same. While our Terran player, he's back at home, just doing the same old thing. Once again, getting the refinery, drops a tech lab. And if he produces a Reaper after the tech lab again, I'm going to be upset. Why don't you produce the Reaper before the tech lab?
It might be, because he does have a lot of Vespene. He might be getting the stem as early as he can, as well as making that Reaper.
That's true. That is true. Of course, did have to hold on to the moving the barracks because he didn't want to let the probe in. Had to wait until the probe was dead to actually lift up. And we already see an early expansion here from Ranchinator, so already deviating from his last game.
Yep, and the second command center just went down for Sky as well. So we're definitely going to see maybe a little bit longer of a game here, more macro-style play from both players.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility, and the Reaper going to be making his way out, and we'll see if he's able to get off as effective of a scout once again here. But actually going to run into the Stalker, should be able to just blow right by it, and going to try to intercept with the Zealot, but Reaper just says, you are not even remotely fast enough to keep up with me. I'm out of here.
Yep, and with those combat drugs, he's just, going to get back to full health and mosey on through Ranchinator's base. Oh, it looks like he's decided to actually try to pick off some probes.
Yeah, always a little unfortunate when you try to pick off the gas probes, though, and end up not being able to get any. And now I disagree with what he just did here. Look at what he saw.
Yeah, he didn't see the Nexus at all, did he?
He also did not see the Robo that went down. like at the exact same time that he was up there. He didn't go for the full scout. Instead, tried to pick off some probes. Didn't successfully get any probes, and now he's gonna have to come in for a second run. And well, we'll get the scout off on the Nexus. Gonna come on up here, and damn, that guy is just so fast. Going to easily be able to scout the Robo this time, and Taylor is built to directly counter it.
Reaper is going to go down, so there will be no more scouting for now, anyway. But he knows exactly, and this is something we've seen from Sky every game. He is very effective at getting the information that he needs to get. Every game, he's either used scans or that Reaper opening to scout out his opponent's base.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. Reactionary style play. And, well, already we actually do see a Robo Bay coming down right here for Ranchinator. So looking to go very, very early Colossi. It's going to be interesting, especially with the opening that our Terran player is choosing to go for right now. Went with a very, very early siege tank. Just one defensive siege tank. Should keep him safe from any gateway timings. But immediately transitioning into Hellion production. Going to throw down a tech lab here. Starts a medevac with the tech lab starport. And what's he going to build to go on top of this one? Not quite sure yet. He's already got a command center. Is he going to do a Hellion drop right here? Looks like it.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Hellion drop. Oh, he's producing a Banshee as well. So a little bit of everything. You know, a little diversity in his army composition.
He'd like the appetizer sampler. Just a little
oh,
bit
he's switching the factory back over to that tech lab.
And resuming tank production. So just going to go with those 4 Hellions for now. But the medevac does walk right by an observer there. And our Protoss should be able to get the Stalkers into position to deal with this quite effectively. And the observer going to make its way in. Will actually spot out exactly what's going on here with the production. Even sees the Banshee. And our Terran player kind of getting the short end of the stick right now when it's coming to scouting information.
Yeah, Ranchinator, he's got his Colossi. The second one is in production, although he's supply block, so it hasn't started yet. But he's got the extended thermal lances in research as well.
Now the Hellions have been dropped. Unfortunately, not really picking up any kills, not being focus fired at all. Instead, trying to take some shots at the Stalker. Medevac will be able to escape, but if we take a look at the workers killed, a total of 4 workers killed, and at least one of those was from earlier on, so a relatively unsuccessful Hellion drop. What he did see, though, very important, and that's the Robo Bay, and that it was churning away with the little spider fingers working on upgrading that thermal lance.
Ranchinator has that observer still just sitting in Sky's base. He's got it next to all of his building facility or unit facilities, so he pretty much can see anything that pops out right now and know exactly what he's up against.
Now, one thing that you got to point out here is that the Banshees, they're actually being trailed by the observer. So he's not keeping them, it's just on hold position next to these buildings. It's right-clicked onto one of these Banshees. And if he flies it by a missile turret, which is about to happen, oh no, good control there from Ranchinator. Actually threads the needle right through the middle of those uprights, and we'll be able to save that observer from what would have otherwise been certain doom.
Well, Ranchinator just dropped a Templar Archives. Looks like we might be seeing a little bit of high Templar for Storms. Blink is also researching, so both players that have pretty nice diversity of units. Sky looks to be going pretty tank heavy. Vikings are being pumped out using reactor starport. So we might be seeing a little bit more of this mech style of play.
Yeah, very interesting. Of course, the most recent changes to mech, being that siege tanks no longer require that siege upgrade, and being that he is producing off of 3 tech lab factories right now, getting that siege tank count very, very high. But of course, Robo always been kind of that staple counter to this Terran composition. And we'll see how effective Sky's going to be at it. We already saw his mech play versus Zerg earlier, being very, very efficient. And against Terran, I mean, his positioning was just spot on. We'll see how it does against the Robo play here from our Protoss player.
Well, Sky's actually taken, I don't think Ranchinator has seen it yet, but he's taken the bottom right-hand corner expansion, little secret base, and he's dropping all his mules over there.
Yeah, and with that mule drop actually getting up to about 2,100 minerals per minute, about 40% higher than his opponent. So he's got to be comfortable with that. But as the observer had spotted out the number of siege tanks in the Terran composition, Immortals actually being the unit of choice being pumped out of dual robotics right now. In fact, going double robo with one Colossus and one Immortal at a time. This is going to be a very healthy composition for Ranchinator when this engagement chooses to come out. And I believe I even saw some High Templar. In fact, yeah, 4 High Templar coming out. And was Storm researched? Negative.
No, it was not.
This is going to be for feedback only on those Banshees.
Unfortunately, in this scenario, I think that Ranchinator thinks he's going up against a more bio-heavy type of play. He's going to be using those High Templar feedbacks for what he thinks is the medevacs. But the medevacs aren't really going to be there.
Well, I mean, he got really good scouting information off with one of the observers. So he definitely saw like 7 tanks and no Marines or Marauders and no medevacs, just Banshees and Vikings. So I really do think that he's well aware of what he's going up against. And our Terran player throwing down some scans now and actually catches the movement right here. Mothership core in with this now, and ooh, nice blink up there. Did that medevac actually contain anything?
I did not see him, sorry.
Yeah, I got the blink and sniped a medevac that looked like it was coming in for a drop, maybe a scout. But our Protoss player going to start to move out here. We take a look at the army supply. Currently up close to 20 over his opponent. Very, very strong army here from Ranchinator. Whereas our Terran player focusing much more on economy. Should be able to still defend this, though, with the great positioning of these siege tanks. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited that he got that Mothership core because I really want to see that used. Haven't really seen too many. I mean, this is the heart of the swarm.
Oh, here comes the Protoss army. Vikings in the air, gonna start pummeling the Colossi, but tanks on the ground doing so much. And the Mothership in there dropping that green field. I don't even know what that is. Colossi both go down. Charge lots trying to close the distance here, but this siege tank line is so deep. Going to be just pounding and damage. There's the feedbacks onto the Banshees, and they just disintegrate. The Archon's being formed now, and Sky going to try to repel this with Vikings being landed on the ground, but I think the might of this Protoss army might just be a little bit too strong. Going down to just 5 tanks right now. Charge lots and Archons pressing on up. And yeah, it looks like Ranchinator is actually going to be able to just push through that army.
Yep, he's actually reinforcing it with Zealots back at that pylon off to the side of the third of Skies. What does Sky have to defend this? You know, 2 Vikings out on the high ground, which he has the Mothership core, so he has vision. There's a blink up there. 3 tanks kind of on his ramp, and that Ghost that just went down. He's pumping out Hellions, tanks, and Vikings.
Archons, Immortals, and Charge Lots, though, are all just so effective against these tanks. And Sky looking a little bit outclassed in this game. Forgot upgrades. GG!
And that brings it to 1-1. So we're going to be going into this final game of 3.
We certainly are, guys. Hope that you're excited for game number 3 here momentarily. Going to be getting into that one in just a second, of course, with me, your Cast Ghost Beef, and Fission of the IvD Gaming Crew, bringing you IvD Tournament number 73 here on the Heart of the Swarm servers. We'll be getting on into that one momentarily, but while you're waiting, enjoy some cool tunes provided to you by the guys over at Groove Addiction. Listen in if you like what you hear, which I'm pretty sure you will. It's pretty good music if I do say so myself. Head over to ivdgaming.com and check out where you can pick up their albums. And of course, make sure to check out everything about IvD Gaming while you're over there, including our next tournament running tomorrow. Guys, are going to be getting into that 3rd and final game here momentarily. Don't go anywhere. We will be finishing out this tournament in just a few minutes.
when your beauty fades and you find that a human touch ain't that superficial. Ain't that superficial? They ought to call you Mr. Hypocrite, Prince of Counterfeit. Every word sticky sweet with compassion, cause that's the latest fashion, and so you cash in. You had your chance then to rearrange, but now your time's running out and ain't a damn thing changed. Can you say it's getting better when everyone's a debtor? So much to do, so much to say, so many promises to left to break. But hey, it's okay, they'll look the other way and smile when they say you were king for a day. Are you still gonna feel our pain when there's nothing left to gain? Are you still gonna feel our pain when there's nothing left to gain? This is the day of the Thai cliche. It ain't what you do, it's what you say. And everybody is a prostitute. And just how well can you sell in your three-piece suit? There's so much angst and yet we don't know why. Too tired to fight, too dumb to try. I've heard your song one too many times. You're just a game show host spitting worn out lines. Define the rules that don't apply to you and take a bow for what you didn't do. But hey, it's okay, who needs the truth? We've no right to judge despite the proof.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this IvDGaming.com tournament number 73 production, hosted by me, your casting host Beef, and with me, Fission of the IvD casting crew. We're getting into game number 3, the grand finals. This is it. It's for all the marbles, and these guys got to put it all on the line if they want to take home tournament number 73. Fission, you stoked?
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I thought, like I said, that those high Templars the last game, I thought he was kind of making those. I thought they were going to be kind of wasted unit without the storm, but killing those banshees and going Archons, that really did the trick.
Yeah, it certainly worked out in Ranchinator. Just maybe with a little bit better build there, as our Terran player did get a little bit greedy. Well, we'll have to see if he remedies that in this one. The bottom right-hand corner here of Antigua Shipyard. The red Terran, he's Sky. His opponent up here in the 11 o'clock position of Antigua Shipyard. The pink Protoss showing us that he's not just a one-trick pony with his DT build. Will he be going for that? Will he go for a macro game? And will he win this series? The pink Protoss, he's Ranchinator.
Looks like we got the same opening from both players, really standard. Nothing too out of the ordinary yet.
Yeah, it's something to point out here that with our Terran player, he's gone for that similar opening. The Reapers gone for the factory relatively quickly against all three races. So far against against Protoss, has not gone for the Widow Mines that he did against both other races. Really liked those against Terran, liked them against Zerg. Against Protoss, maybe a little bit too scared of that early observer.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking the same thing. Typically, the Protoss are going to get an observer out, regardless of anything else going on, just for the information. And they already have it out. Just makes it nice. Versus if he were to go Widow Mines.
Yeah, we'll see. But once again, going for that same standard build that he's used twice before, going for the early barracks. Early Tech Lab, and then looks like he's going to produce a Reaper. We'll see. Maybe he goes for the all-out Marauder push. Who knows? But Tech Lab will be finishing up here in just a moment. SCV already getting off some basic scouting information over here, confirming that it is cross spawns, and checks out the gas timing, as well as the gateway and cybernetics core.
Both players look like they're going to be... Oh, there's a deny on the Nexus using an engineering bay.
Heyo, that's annoying. Zealot already out, though. If he'd skipped that Zealot, that would have been a much bigger deal. And, well, trades, 21 minerals right there, plus the SCV for about a 15-second later Nexus. I don't know. Arguable which person got the better trade right there.
Yeah, it could go either way, especially... this early in the game with the getting that natural down. Oh, and they're denying the Reaper even. The Reaper's not going to be able to get in this time as quickly. I mean, like normal, it'll regenerate its health using the combat drugs, but
Reaper going to try to run the probe down, and will be very successful in that. He's like, all right, you can make sure I don't get into your base, but I'm killing everything on the map. But, well, Reaper might be able to try to poke up there once again, but on Antigua Shipyard, that, of course, there's really only one truly good spot to get up that ramp, and that's exactly where the Zealot and the Stalker were guarding.
Oh, one thing to take note is this is a little bit different play from Sky than we're used to. He's not going the typical mech. Looks like he's decided to go bio this time.
Yeah, at least going to open up with that one. Stim halfway done right here, and actually going to plop down 2 extra reactors. This is a similar build to what we would see a lot of the times from Marine King about 6-8 months ago, where he would go for the 1-Rax slow expand. So in-base expansion rather than something on the low ground. Kind of fake some 1-base aggression, then take the expansion, and then just hit with a giant, like, 2-base timing without medevacs at about the 7.5 minute mark. But Sky actually doing this one a little bit slower than that, adding on to a factory a little bit later in an engineering bay. So this might not actually be a timing. This might be an expansion build. Try to take it early third.
Yeah, and last game he kind of blamed his loss on not getting upgrades, so he's making sure to get that upgrade this game.
Yeah, well, on the other side, Ranchinator getting his mothership core out nice and early. And already up to 4 gates. Got the robo facility down and an observer on the way. And going to go for the robotics bay once again very, very early and start working on that Colossi count.
Yep, and, I'm almost willing to bet. Oh, yep, he already has an observer halfway across the map. There's no missile turrets up yet, so he's going to be able to get all the information he wants unless this guy can get a scan on that. Oh, there it is. Wow, that observer is down.
Very nice scan right there. Just completely going to deny what the observer was able to see. And the observer actually only saw the 10 Marines moving out. The other set of Marines and Marauders were actually in a little bit different location. So the stemmed up bio ball with good micro actually has a really good chance of doing a lot of damage here. But back home, Sky has been sitting at this 54-54 supply block for quite some time. And here's the engagement here. Stim goes up and the Marines being split up a little bit. There's the green shield going down the chrono field or something along those lines as, well, that bio ball did not do nearly as well. And what is that called? Time warp. Reducing the movement speed by 50% of everything in there. That's a pretty strong spell.
Yeah, especially versus bio balls like that. Yeah, it's gonna reduce the ability to stem and kind of kite backwards, splitting your army. And Zealots will be able to actually catch up to the Marines and Marauders and get some damage in.
Yeah, they certainly are. Now back at home, Sky going to be dropping additional racks. Already started double medevac production, so definitely looks like he's going full bio as the factory is out and floating around. But our Protoss player already with a pretty good composition to deal with that. Going up to, well, 5 gates from now. I'd expect 6 or 7 total. And then the robotics facility already working on that extended thermal lance. Gonna have a very nice composition to deal with this, as if our Terran player does not switch to Vikings, not going to be able to meet with those Colossi. If he does switch to Vikings without getting a second starport, he's going to have a very low medevac count.
Yeah, I don't know if Sky going this bio build versus this comp that Ranch is making is going to be very is going to be able to handle it. Like the Colossi with the thermal reach is just going to eat these bio units up.
Well, going to rely on his mobility as he's going for a drop right now, and this is definitely the strength of the Terran bio composition. Going to drop a total of 2 Marauders and what appears to be 12 Marines here in the base. And our Protoss player, he says,
looks like we might see a base trade here.
Base race is on, and Terran going to start to unpower these warp gates and to kill the Archons. And yeah, Terran definitely going to have a hard time defending this one. And our Protoss player definitely looking for the base race right now. Going to be powering up this ramp while Terran unpowering as many buildings as he can. And our Protoss player, he is all in right now, trying to get this damage done while Terran is still producing back at home. He needs to actually lift the orbital command off right now. Instead, just going to sacrifice it as Vikings are coming up.
More time.
And Vikings will be able to actually blow this orbital command, or the mothership core out of the water. But like you said, Sky buying time, and time is definitely his friend right now. Could actually load up all of his units that are in Ranchinator's base right now and try to meet up with the rest of his army. But, well,
really, all he's got to do is get these stalkers down, and he will be in a very good position. If he can get all the units that can attack air, he can actually just lift his buildings up, and he'll have a lot of time on the other side of the map with those Marines and Marauders that are just wiping out Ranch's base.
Sky in a very, very good position right now. Played this extremely well, and Nexus actually being dropped here by our Protoss player. Going to try to come up the ramp. There's the Archons in the front line. Colossus in the back doing a lot of damage, but not target focus firing perfectly as the Stalkers, they're taking a lot of damage right now. SCV's going to come around and try to buffer, but the force fields are very good at this point. And one Colossus already down. Going to force field the ramp and try to take some time to regenerate. The Medevac's completely out of energy, and this is still looking very, very interesting at this point. Going to come up once more. I don't know if I agree with this from our Protoss. Just going to take a pot shot at the units and then back on up.
So one thing to notice is how much bank each player has. Sky is sitting at about 300 minerals, 500 Vespine. Whereas Ranch has been mining this entire time on his other base, and he's actually running his probes out right now over to Sky's natural, where he has a Nexus complete. So, the tides just kind of shifted with this extra base that Ranch is throwing down.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. The Medevac's going to lift up right here, and factories and barracks providing some scouting information, perhaps going to provide a little bit of a shield as the units do come in here. And, well, Ranchinator going to be able to actually just rebuild his base in the natural. That's going to be kind of odd, but Medevacs and Marauders being unloaded here at the low ground, as Force Field going to block for now, but Medevacs and Marauders being unloaded once more. Going to come up from two different angles right here, but, well, Colossi going to go down right there, and going to try to force in on the rest of the Stalkers. The Zealots all eliminated, and that is going to be it. Sky looks like he's going to be taking this game momentarily. Ranchinator just holding out hope against hope that, well, internet connection might shut out and the admins are looking favorable on him. Something like that, but this game is pretty much over.
Yep, it looks as though Sky... I don't want to necessarily say Sky got lucky, but if Ranch would have turned around with his army and just, kind of held him off, didn't go for that base trade, he would be probably sitting in a way better position than he is now.
Well, I don't think you could be sitting in a much worse position.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I really felt like he was making the correct decision there, but then again, they always say, never base trade against a Terran. There's a good reason they say that. They're pretty good about flying their buildings around and just defending very, very well.
Yeah, Sky also had very good control. His Vikings didn't get targeted down. I think that's probably the biggest mistake that Ranch made. The Vikings got one whole Colossus down, by themselves, and a little bit of damage, about half the shields on the second Colossus, if I recall. And the sheer number of SCVs, Marines, and Marauders were enough to eventually take out the rest of the army.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, Sky gonna march on across the map and try to secure his victory. One sentry is out. Gonna drop a lowly force field here in just a moment, and there it is, but not gonna matter too much. GG comes out here from Ranchinator, and that's gonna do it. Sky takes the win. Game number 3 takes the series and takes this entire tournament.
Yeah, very well played. Sky, and he only had one loss since we cast him the entire tournament. Very solid player.
Very, very solid indeed. All right, guys.